So good morning to everyone. Today, instead of taking 11 o'clock, I have chosen today because of my meetings and some other works. So I have started the lecture early, 10 o'clock. So as you know, we have completed the first anatomy paper. In that, we have come across the question number 2, that is the CNS, general anatomy and embryology. Then question number 3 is in the first paper, upper extremity, 5 marks questions we have dealt almost all. Today's my topic is relating to the almost all the questions relating the paper 1 anatomy, and that is a question number 4. Here almost all you can see the questions of the neck. I have already dictated you. 2 marks questions maybe comes as what are the infrahyoid, suprahyoid muscles and all. So here one important thing you have to know is what are the common question you have to write for the exam. In the actually question is asked for the 10 marks, that is question number 4. It is almost all related to the 10 marks question related to the, that is the head, neck and face, HNF. So it is very important to complete the important questions of the head, neck, face. 10 marks question you should be there. So I have first dealt the many questions in this. That is the totally I have mentioned all the questions you have to remember. That is the first one, anterior triangle of neck. All the question bank, if you have the side by side to that, you can recollect. That is the question relating to the neck are the first one is the anterior triangle of neck, posterior triangle of neck. Then you have the parotid gland, lateral wall of nose, tongue, larynx, pharynx, mastication, muscles of mastication, salivary glands, that is in the parotid you have to maximum remember, mid-layer cavity or mid-layer, eye, extraocular muscles or sagittal section of eyeball, thyroid gland, very important, scalp and submandibular gland and esophagus. So all these are the common question asked for the 10 marks. So everyone should know the all the triangles of neck, 2 triangles, anterior triangle, posterior triangle. That is I have recently covered. That in that you have to sub triangles and its boundaries, roof and floor. So that you have to remember. So in this diagram, you can see the anterior triangle and posterior triangle of this posterior triangle of the neck. In the anterior triangle, you have to tell about this total neck is divided by the quadrilateral space. This quadrilateral space is divided by the obliquely by the, this is known as the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Area in front of the sternocleidomastoid muscle, this is all we call as an anterior triangle of neck, and this is called as a posterior triangle of neck. So anterior triangle of neck, it is the triangular muscular space situated in front of the sternocleidomastoid. Triangular muscular space behind the sternocleidomastoid muscle is called a posterior triangle. So this is all I have dealt properly in the online lecture only, that you can recollect. Just to revise that we have the anterior triangle is consist of the suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles. Suprahyoid muscles are 4, infrahyoid muscle. This is a hyoid bone. Above this all is suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles. So in this you have to know about the suprahyoid muscles are digastric. These anterior belly, posterior belly are they digastric. Stylohyoid, mylohyoid and geniohyoid. Okay. Then we have the infrahyoid muscles, sternohyoid, sternothyroid, thyrohyoid and omohyoid, that you have to remember. So almost all after this you have to know about the posterior anterior triangle subtriangles. We have the submental, once we have the digastric, carotid and muscular. Here we have in the posterior triangle, we have the occipital and supraclavicular or subclavian triangle. These are the two triangles. So this is very important to know about the anterior and posterior triangle of the neck. Here you have to next remember about the posterior triangle of neck. Afterwards, you have to know about the, in the laterally, we have the side of the neck. Here you can clearly boundary view, you can see the muscles and all that you have to remember. So here two important muscles also you have to remember. Superior belly, that is the belly of omohyoid, and this is the inferior belly of the omohyoid. Okay, these two bellies of omohyoids you have to, superior inferior belly you have to remember. Okay, so all these anterior belly of digastric, posterior belly of digastric, or this is superior belly of omohyoid, inferior belly of omohyoid, this is the sternocleidomastoid, and this is a trapezius. That is you have to know. The next is when we see the other diagram here, you have to remember subtriangles and all. Then next we have the, that are the, what are the roof structure and floor structure of the, you have to remember about the, that is the posterior triangle. The roof is formed by the lesser occipital nerve, greater auricular nerve, supraclavicular nerve. Then we have the external jugular vein. This is very important to know. That is the almost all the skin superficial fascia and cervical fascia, that all will be included here. And also we have the roof structure that is formed posterior triangle, that is external jugular vein, supraclavicular nerve, greater auricular, lesser occipital nerve. Those all will be forming. So that is very important to know about the roof structures of the posterior triangle. So almost all the two subtriangles in that you have to know, and in the subtriangles, that is the floor you are going to get it. So can you see change diagram, floor diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So whatever the floor of the posterior triangle is formed by the semispinalis capitis, splenius capitis, levator scapulae. Then we have the three scalene muscle, scalenus anterior, scalenus medius, scalenus posterior. So all this you have to know about the, that is the floor of the, that is the posterior triangle. Very important to remember about this diagram. Then one more comes about the, that is the suboccipital triangle. This is the back of the neck. Sometime you have to remember about the region where the back of the neck region, which is situated in the, actually in the, whatever the, deep in the suboccipital region. So that is we are going to call it a suboccipital triangle. So this is very important to know the boundaries and all content. Totally we have the superior medially, superior laterally, and inferiorly. We have the boundary that is the boundaries of the suboccipital triangle. So here we have the medially, that is a superior medially. We have the muscle like rectus capitis posterior major, rectus capitis posterior minor, superior laterally, superior oblique muscle, inferiorly, inferior oblique. Almost all these you are going to get as a suboccipital triangle. Then roof is formed by the dense fibrous tissue covered by the semispinalis capitis. Longissimus capitis also. And floor is formed by the here posterior arch of atlas, then posterior atlanto-occipital membrane covering. Content here, contain third part of the vertebral. This is the third part of the vertebral artery. Dorsal ramus of nerve C1 and suboccipital plexus of veins. All they are the content here. Next, you have to remember about the next question comes usually asked, that is the submandibular salivary gland. So in this submandibular salivary gland, you have to know almost all the most important question always asked, that is the parotid gland. So in this parotid gland also you have to remember, and submandibular salivary gland also. So in this you have to cover the almost all the submandibular salivary gland. In that you have to tell the what is the location, position, and what are the relations, blood supply, nerve supply, and actions. Total actions means what is the action of saliva on the food and what is the function of saliva. That is you have to remember. So major you are going to get in the almost all the, I hope that is you are not seeing the diagram, or seen means it's okay, but so parotid I am talking. There are three pairs of the salivary glands in the body, and in that you have to know about the almost all the, that is the parotid and submandibular salivary gland. So majority of these salivary gland, three pairs, right side three, left side three, and you are going to get as a, that is the, you have the almost all situated in the around the oral cavity. So it is very important to know that is the, they are helping for the secretion of the saliva adding into the oral cavity. And next you have to tell about the, what is the important constituents of the saliva, water 99% and other all xylene and all other content in the physiology you have studied. Then whatever the, you tell the what is the normal daily secretion, that all you have to add to the in the that is in the physiology. So first important thing you have to know about the submandibular salivary gland. It is a J-shaped, and that is a walnut in say size you have. So it is totally you have to remember where it is situated, means it is almost all in the, that is the digastric triangle. So that is all you have to know in the that is in the submandibular salivary gland. Then when you talk about the parotid gland, in that parotid gland you have to tell the, that is the, what is the location, situation, shape and size, weight, then relation. Very important part of that is relations of the totally you have the relations of the parotid gland. So what are the structures most important are passing through here that you have to mention. So whatever the, when you see the, that is the parotid gland, in that you have the facial nerve is the major nerve structure which is entering, and we have the jugular vein, then we have the branches of the internal that is the internal carotid artery. So all these will be running across in the totally in the parotid gland. So that is very important to know about two questions, that is submandibular salivary gland and parotid gland. So almost all parotid diagram relations and 5 branches of facial nerve, all that you have to remember. Then when we go to the question, to the next one, that is the, that is question relates. Here you can see the submandibular salivary gland. So in this submandibular salivary gland, I have told J-shape, 3 pairs, almost all introduction I have told. Then you have to know about the, that is the, what are the relations of the submandibular salivary gland. That also very important. So now you can say that what this submandibular salivary gland is usually saliva helping for the speech, deglutition, swallowing, keeping the oral cavity moist. All they are the included in the functions of the saliva. This is very important to know, that is the about the submandibular salivary gland. And I have also told the parotid gland, that is also very important. In that you have to know about the parotid gland almost all situation. So here you can see the that is the first one, relations of the submandibular salivary gland. So all they are the related structures which are you are going to get the inferiorly, medially and laterally. All they are related. Inferiorly skin, we have platysma, cervical branch of facial nerve, deep fascia, submandibular lymph node. These are the from the inferiorly, that is from the inferior surface. Medially, we have the submandibular, that is a fossa of the mandible. That is you are going to get, and we are going to get the on the lateral side. We are going to get almost all the structures like xyloglossus, hyoglossus, lingual nerve, submandibular nerve. So these all will be there in the totally in the, that is about the submandibular salivary gland. So in this next comes about the we have the, that is a thyroid gland. So very important and most important common question is asked about the thyroid gland. You have to know the what is the introduction. It is endocrine gland, thyroid seal like that you have to know. What is the location of the thyroid gland? Exactly, it is situated at the, we have the cervical 4 to the T1, and it is endocrine gland situated in the anterior part of the neck in the midline, clasping the upper part of the trachea. That is you have to know. And where it is attached, apex of the lobes, each one attached to the thyroid cartilage, this thyroid cartilage, and this is the hyoid bone, and this is the trachea. So you have to remember about the all these thyroid cartilage and thyroid gland. That is location you have to know, and whatever the third lobe can be arise, that is a pyramidal lobe, that also you can remember here. So this is in the thyroid you have to know important relations of the lobes, and we have the, that is a isthmus. So here isthmus is connecting part between the right and left lobe, that is you have to know. 25 gram weight is there. Then you have to remember the structure of the thyroid, true capsule, false capsule. Relating to the prostate, you have to remember. That is all I have covered. Then next you have the other part which is you should know about the, that is the that is the relation. Afterwards you have to remember the what is the structure of the thyroid gland. Follicular, parafollicular cells, T3, T4, TSH secretion. Then you have to tell about the what is the blood supply, superior thyroid artery, inferior thyroid artery. Then I have told the nerve supply, cervical plexus of nerve, and almost all the, remember about the, what are the, these hormones secreted by the thyroid. T3, triiodothyronine, T4, tetraiodothyroxine, then we have thyroxine. Okay, triiodothyronine, tetraiodothyronine, and thyroxine, and TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. This all will be remembered in this. And one more thing important is these all hormones helps for the physical and mental growth, psychic and somatic growth. You can remember psychic and somatic growth of the body, and calcium metabolism plays a role, important role in the calcium metabolism. So these all will be relating to the functions and structures of the thyroid. Histology also asks thyroid. You have to explain the almost all the, that is the you have to name about the, that is the other parts which is you have to know, that is the, that is remember about the almost all is, that is the clinical anatomy of the thyroid gland. So clinical anatomy also you have to remember, and in that you have to tell about the what is the goiter. Then you have to tell about the, after goiter you have to tell about the what is the goiter. So in this you have to know about the, in that you have to know about the first one, that is the physiologically, that is the enlargement of the thyroid gland due to the deficiency, that is a Physiologically, enlargement is different due to the deficiency of iodine is different. So what you have to remember is, in the thyroid gland, you have to tell deficiency of the iodine, which is iodine is very important for the synthesis of T3, T4. So thyroxine, TSH. So this is deficient. That time we have the almost all the, there is an enlargement of the thyroid gland. And in this, we have there is an enlarged thyroid, and due to the deficiency, that we call as a, that is the goiter. Okay. And next, thyroid, that is inflammation, that is hyperactivities or hypersecretion of the thyroid hormone, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, cretinism, myxedema, all you have to remember. If it is enlarged very big, then we are going to remove the surgically removal of the thyroid gland, thyroidectomy. That you have to know. Next, I have covered the larynx. In this, you have to tell about the, what are the cartilages of larynx. What it is? Larynx means. You have to remember about the larynx is the organ for the phonation. That is help for the voice is produced. That is all you have to remember about in the introduction. And always this acts as a sphincter for the inlet of the lower respiratory passage. When you see this part of the sagittal section of the head neck face, here you are going to see it. So next comes about the, in the larynx, you have to remember cartilages of the larynx, paired and unpaired, 9 cartilage, paired are 6, unpaired are 3. Totally we have the, that is the 9 cartilage. Unpaired are the epiglottis, thyroid and cricoid. That is paired, we have these all are the unpaired cartilages. So we have the almost all the next part that is comes in the that is we have the paired and unpaired cartilage. Paired, I have told the arytenoid, corniculate and cuneiform. So almost all this you have to know in the, that is the corniculate and arytenoid cartilage, cuneiform. All they are the, we are going to call as an, they are the cartilages of the larynx. Then larynx, in that you have to tell the, what are the constituents of the larynx and all. Okay. Then I have told the intrinsic muscles of the larynx and all, that you have to know. Okay. So in this you have to remember about the, what are the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. So in this I have covered the, almost all the, that is the intrinsic muscles, that are the all 9 muscles I have told. Origin, insertion specifically I have taken. In that you have to know about the, that is the cartilages and intrinsic, extrinsic muscles of the intrinsic muscles. Extrinsic is cricothyroid, that is even though intrinsic but lies outside, that is we call as an that is a, we are going to call as an, that is a intrinsic muscle which lies on the extrinsically. So that is we are going to call. Okay. Next you have to remember about the, after this you have to explain about the, what is the clinical anatomy and all, about the clinical anatomy of the larynx, laryngitis, laryngeal edema, then loss of voice, hoarseness of voice, loss of phonation, damage to the internal laryngeal nerve, external laryngeal nerve, recurrent laryngeal nerve. Then any foreign object enters into the larynx, that will be causing the severe cough to produce, that is the expel it out the almost all the expel it out the foreign object which is entering into the trachea. So all these you have to know in the, that is in the, that is the pharynx and larynx it is. Okay. Next you have to tell about the pharynx. In that you have to remember about the 3 parts of the pharynx that you have to remember. In that 3 parts, you have to tell. In that nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. That all you have to know. So almost all in the other parts, you have to tell about the almost all the 3 parts boundaries. What are the important features of the nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx? That you have to remember. So this all includes in the, that is the pharynx. Next comes about the, that is the, after the larynx and pharynx. I have told larynx, pharynx is commonly asked, that is, and that is very important to know about the, that is about the, that is totally about larynx and pharynx. Because of that, I have specifically explained the all the important topics which are there, that is in the relating to the pharynx. So in this, you have to know about the, after the larynx and pharynx, then you have to go for the all the boundaries of the pharynx you have to know. And next is you have to know about the, what is the palatine tonsil, what is the nasal tonsil, what is the tubal tonsil, what is the adenoid in the pharynx. Okay, most about the, that is about the, in the, so next comes about the, all this is about the total we have studied about the larynx and pharynx. So next, one more important thing you have to know about the eyeball. In this eyeball, you have to know about the almost all the points which are relating to the sagittal section. This is not you have to write in the, where 3 questions are different in the relating the eyeball. What sagittal section means, this you have to draw. Then what are the extraocular muscles means, you have to write the all the rectus and oblique muscles. Then optic nerve can be asked. Then eye itself, eyes can be asked. So this is all about the relating to the total eyeball. So sagittal section, it is like a camera. So all you are going to get the 3 layers. So we are going to get the sclera. On the outermost, anteriorly we have the cornea. So this is the cornea and sclera outermost. Then second layer is choroid, and third layer, nervous layer, is that is you are going to call it the retina. Okay, here we have the lens, then we have the ciliary process and the ciliary body, and this is the iris. Okay, this is all iris, and this is making the pupil. So this is all about the 12th standard question, that is your. In this, you have to remember about the thymus and all. These are the muscles of the pharynx. You have to remember all constrictor muscles of the pharynx. You are going to tell about. Then these are the boundaries of the, that is the boundaries of the pharynx. And here you 3 parts you have to remember about: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. So this all will be included in the totally pharynx. So these all questions I have dealt, this intrinsic muscles of the, that is the larynx. All intrinsic muscle, cricothyroid, posterior cricoarytenoid, lateral cricoarytenoid, oblique arytenoid, aryepiglotticus, thyroarytenoid, vocalis, and thyroepiglotticus. All this is about the, totally about the, our today's lecture. So CNS, in this is I have already dealt. This is just to remember about the surfaces of the cerebrum, that all corpus callosum, septum pellucidum. This is the, you have the thalamus, hypothalamus, third ventricle, and this is a fourth ventricle, cerebral aqueduct. This is brainstem, midbrain, pons, and medulla, and we have the cerebellum, and this is cerebrum medial surface. This is the lateral surface we are going to get. Then lobes you have to remember. This is all about the, totally about the today's lecture. So you know the all triangles and all. Other questions, middle ear cavity you have to study. Parotid gland you have to study. Lateral wall of the nose, tongue, very important, muscles of mastication. So what you have to remember, lateral wall of nose formation, what are the structure, making the superior inferior concha, all that is your tongue. You have to write almost all the anatomy of the tongue, that all will be relating to the tongue. Muscles of mastication, four muscle, origin, insertion you have to study. That is the medial pterygoid, lateral pterygoid, temporalis, and masseter. All these four muscles are the muscles of mastication. Their origin, insertion you have to study. Then mid-layer cavity you have to study as a box, cube. Then what are the attachments, what are the boundaries, what are the important structure crossing, that all you have to make the specific notes for the 10 marks about the mid-layer. Then eye and eyeball I have told, extraocular muscle, superior inferior rectus, medial and lateral, that is the oblique muscle, superior inferior oblique muscle, that all you have to. Even one more question you have to study here, that is a scalp. Okay, scalp is also can be asked here, that is okay. So 1 minute is remains, anytime it may be closed. So here I am closing the completing my lecture. That is question number 4, head, neck, face, important question that we are going to studied all these teach and studied. So that is very important thing you should know. Okay, here I am completing my lecture, and next lecture I will start with the first paper only, long question, and if it is required I will show the what is how to write the theory paper. That is important papers I will show, that is. And shoulder joint, elbow joint, wrist joint you have to study, that is very important. Okay, so here I am completing my lecture. Thank you very much. So study all these, that is CNS, upper extremity, and head, neck, face. We have completed, including general anatomy and embryology.